Today, the United Nations Children's Agency reported that more than half of Ukraine's 7.3 million children have now been driven from their homes in one of the largest displacements of children since World War II. A mother and son spoke with Sky News about their harrowing story of trying to escape the besieged city of Mariupol.
We watched as we went to the checkpoint. Cars were shot there.
There was an old man and woman in the car. They were shot next to each other. And for so many days, they just were in the car. Nobody picked their bodies up.
Joining us now from Kyiv is Inna Sovsun, a member of Ukraine's parliament. Thank you so much for being with us. What's the latest on the ground there in Kyiv?
Well, the situation in Kyiv remains pretty stable, if you can call it this way, for the past couple of days. We are having battles on the northwest of the city. They're constantly ongoing. The Ukrainian army has pushed Russians a little bit further from the city boundaries and is trying to regain control over the city of Irpin. Major battles are still taking place there, but it seems like Ukrainian army is progressing rather well in terms of regaining control over the city. But again, the Russians are fighting back. They constantly try to strike the city, to set missile attacks, but nothing major has been hit as of the last day here today. That did allow for us in the parliament to have an emergency session today, again, which was important, I think, for us to do. It was also important because we did have some guests who were the speakers of the three Baltic parliaments who were speaking to the Ukrainian parliament today, which was an immense sign of solidarity on behalf of the Baltic states for us, for the parliament, but also for the Ukrainian people.
So President Zelensky, I think today in front of NATO leaders, talked about the Russians utilizing some bombs that are against the Geneva Conventions. Is it possible that the Russians could soon be using chemical, biological weapons?
Everything is possible. I believe starting a month ago, we are living in an understanding that any development is possible. The level of evil that we are all facing, not just us as Ukraine, but the world in general, is immense. And I know it's scary to accept that, but it is possible. Yes, we understand that. And we want that to stop. We want the world to help us to stop this. But we understand that probably, and that is what the analytics here are saying, is that given that Russians cannot get closer to Kyiv, they can try to use some other weapon, like chemical weapon, around Kyiv or around other areas where they cannot get closer to. So that is a real possibility, unfortunately, yes. And the phosphorus weapon they have been using in eastern Ukraine, and very recently, 2 days ago, just in the area really close to Kyiv.
I'm just wondering, because like in your case, you haven't been able to see your family in weeks. How do people get through these days? I mean, 1 month, we're in 29 days of bombings and destruction, death. And how do you deal with that?
That is one of the biggest challenges. The polling in Ukraine says that 44% of Ukrainians have been separated from their family members and from their loved ones. I was not able to see my son for 3 weeks. I went to see him a couple of days ago and then came back to Kyiv, which was a huge relief for me. And just this morning, well, a couple of hours ago, I saw my boyfriend for an hour when he came back from some mission that he was on. So I'm relieved, for if you can call it this way. But I don't know when I will be able to see him again and when I will be able to see my son again. And that is extreme pressure. But we try to think, well, the positive news is that all my loved ones are alive, which is not the case for thousands of people here in Ukraine who have lost their loved ones. So we have to keep strong. I think that's the only thing that we are left with.
Inna Sovsun, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it.